First tonight at 10, the Jackson County prosecutor says there is not enough evidence to charge the Kansas City police officer in the death of Donnie Sanders. That shooting happened nearly 1 year ago on March 12th. Police say the 47-year-old ran from a traffic stop near 51st and Prospect Avenue. The officer who shot him claimed Sanders raised his hand as if he had a weapon, but no weapon was found. With tonight's announcement, the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office released dash cam footage from the police officer's vehicle. Keep in mind, though, this happened before the police department received body cameras.
And since it was dash cam, it does not show the shooting or the confrontation, but we have to warn you, you will hear gunshots. According to the prosecutor's report, officers say they started following Sanders late that night because it appeared he was speeding. They followed him as he turned off Prospect and onto 51st Street. They say he used the wrong turn signals before eventually turning down an alley. It's at that moment officers turned on their sirens and followed Sanders until they come to the end of the road. About 20 seconds later, both vehicles come to a stop, and you can hear officers call it in. You'll see an officer running toward Sanders. Over the next minute, you hear an officer yelling at Sanders to stop several times. You hear several more commands, including calls for Sanders to show the officer his hands before you eventually hear the gunshots, which is what we're going to show you right now.
Dude, drop it! Drop it! Drop! Drop! No! Drop! No, I'm gonna... Shot fired! Shot fired! Show me your hands!
During the investigation, officers did not find a gun or any weapon.
41 Action News reporter Andres Gutierrez spoke with Sanders' family members. And Andres, many of them saw this dash cam footage for the first time. What was their response?
Well, Caitlin, the decision announced today along with that footage was like ripping off the scab off their emotional wounds. Some of them even now questioning the officer's training.
You could have shot him in the leg, you could have given him a warning shot or anything. Instead of just straight up shooting him.
Donnie Sanders' relatives watched for the first time how a traffic violation last March escalated to an officer shooting Sanders 5 times, killing the unarmed man.
It's not right. It's not right for them to do him the way they did him.
Like, I just feel like with it being off camera, he just shot my brother in cold blood.
This dash cam footage, a key piece of evidence for the prosecutor's office use of force committee to determine whether to file charges against the officer. That officer telling investigators that Sanders held up his hand toward him as if he's got a gun.
I am furious because that's my brother. You know, and to know my brother, like my brother don't carry weapons, you know, and to say that my brother was trying to take aim at him or whatever they trying to say is not true.
Investigators noted one witness from a nearby house said that it appeared Sanders was pointing a gun at the officer, and another said Sanders had his arm extended and was moving toward the officer.
If you're a cop, an officer, like if a person have a gun pointed at you, regardless if it's nighttime or daytime, you're supposed to be trained to see.
The committee attempted to clean up the audio from the footage to understand what Sanders was saying before the shooting, even consulting with a sound expert, but the committee was unable to do so.
How can you legally murder a person?
Ultimately, investigators concluded that the evidence collected was insufficient to support charges against the officer.
Being a black man is like there's no justice, or there's no justice for us. Like, they just do what they want to do to us. There's nothing that we can really say that's going to change what done happened or what's going to happen, because it done happen everywhere.
And now, right there, he is referring to the shooting deaths of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor that sparked protests last summer nationwide and here locally, calling for criminal justice reform. Now, the family of Donnie Sanders is considering suing KCPD over this shooting. We are expected to hear more from them at a news conference in the afternoon. Reporting live in downtown Kansas City tonight, Andres Gutierrez, 41 Action News.